Hey guys, so today I wanted to share how I got an interview with a company that would pay at least $200,000 a year with over 5,000 applicants. How did I get the interview? How did I get the job offer? I want to share with you some tips because I've been there before. I wanted to make more money. I wanted to be able to earn more for my family and to be able to invest more and to do more with my life, but I didn't know how. I didn't necessarily have the highest income skills, or it would have taken me more time to get a higher income. And so I was willing to do whatever. And so I want to share some tips on how I got that interview. Of course, I have lost out on interviews before and I haven't gotten certain jobs before, but that's part of the journey. You have to put yourself out there. But I'm going to give you some tips on why I think I got this position and this interview to hopefully help you on your journey. Let's do it. All right, so tip number one is to find an industry that you think you could get into, right? And so sales is something that didn't require a degree. Now, I do have a Bachelor of Science degree. I also have a master's degree, but it wasn't in sales or business or marketing or anything like that. And they actually didn't require that. So do some research on what industries will allow you to just pop in without the experience? Or are there some industries where you can learn a skill that doesn't take too long to obtain and then you can pop right in? And so that was part of it, that it was open to anybody. And so I was like, hey, I'm going to apply to this. All right, so next, I did the normal things. I figured out what I needed to do. I crafted my resume and restructured it in order to be hopefully more marketable to this company. I also made a cover letter. And so you want to make sure, it does take a ton of time and work. Gosh, I've done so many cover letters and resumes over the last few years. And it just took so much time, but I really made sure that it was specific. And I tried to sell myself on why I would be good for the job, why I could help them, and how I could serve them. So it's about them, right? You want to take your experience, your skills, your expertise, and show how you can help them, right? So if you were hiring someone, what would you want to see? So I started thinking of that, and I put my resume and my cover letter together, and I sent it on out. Okay, so some people just send their resume and their cover letter and they wait and they sit back and they're like, all right, when are they going to respond? I'm an awesome person. I have the skills. I believe I can do this. I'm motivated, but that is not enough. And so you can do that and maybe it'll work out for you. It has worked out for certain people, but especially with a lot of these jobs, they're super competitive. And yes, you can get access to more jobs, but a lot of people know about them. And so one of the critical things that you need to do is to start reaching out. So you can reach out if it's on LinkedIn. You could also actually find the hiring manager and reach out to them and say, hey, I'm super interested in this job. I feel like I'd be a great fit for this position. And then you share, I've attached my cover letter and my resume if you're interested. I would absolutely love the opportunity to have an interview with you all. And so you just put that out there, right? And so that's what I did. So I put out the normal, I did what I needed to do. I took the time, crafted the resume, crafted the cover letter, and then I went ahead and shared it to the hiring manager. Now, this was a few years ago, so I'm trying to remember all the details, but I ended up calling them. And so this is interesting. And Sarah Blakely talks about this. Like, people would go for Spanx and for her shapewear, they would go to these buyers events and things and trade shows. And for her, instead of doing that, she didn't know about those. So she just called like Nordstrom and Neiman Marcus and was like, hey, can I sell you my product? I have this great product, whatever. And they're like, sure, if you're willing to come fly all the way out here, I'll give you 10 minutes. And so I actually hadn't heard of Sarah Blakely before yet, but the mindset is just do something different and be willing to reach out. And so I was willing to reach out and I called them. I was like, hey, my name's Elizabeth and I recently applied for this position. I just wanted to call and check in. And blah, blah, blah. And so it was funny. And they said, yes, I got your application. Or they took a few minutes and then they went back and talked to someone. And they said, yes, you should be hearing back soon, blah, 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 blah. Oh no, they didn't actually say blah, 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 but I'll save you some of the details. I know you're just interested in the meat of this. And so after that, I didn't hear back. And so I was like, okay, it's all right. Like, no worries. And I ended up reaching out again because they had said that they would reach back out and they hadn't say, hey, I'm so sorry to bother you again, but I just wanted to reach out. And then it was funny because I think this time, I don't know how many times I called. It was probably a few times, but eventually they're like, are you Elizabeth? And then he said, yes. And then he said, great, I'm actually going to send the information over to you. The head of the company wanted to talk to me and wanted to invite me for an interview, and they would be sending information. And so that was so exciting. I was so excited. And then they ended up actually sending me the information and figured out when a good day would be for me. And then I got an interview. All right, so I know every industry is different, and so you can do whatever you want with the industries. And gosh, it's so complicated, and I really haven't cracked the code with all the systems. I'm not trying to apply for anything now. This was a few years ago. Before, I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to be doing, if I was going to stay in teaching or be going to do something else. But it was tough, and with LinkedIn and things, and there's so many it can just be so complicated. And so I feel for you if you are trying to find a job, but this really helped me, especially with this one specific job. And so I went and had an interview, and I got to talk to them and meet them, and they introduced me to some of the team. They were having this big meeting, and I drove all the way out there, and it went really well, and it was cool. And something that I took away, I actually then, after I talked to the person who was interviewing me, I got to talk to one of the head people in the company. And he talked to us, or I had apologized to somebody and saying, hey, I'm so sorry that I reached out so many times, and they were like, that's exactly what we wanted. And so you, by demonstrating that and showing your persistence and showing that you wanted the job and being willing to call up and stuff, that's what we wanted, and we knew we wanted to hire you for the job, or to at least interview you, right? And so I think that's a good lesson, especially sales. Sales, you have to cold call, you have to reach out, you have to be willing to put yourself out there, you have to face rejection, you have to be willing to do the hard work and keep going and persist and keep going until you get that yes, or at least that conversation. And so that's interesting, and a little lesson for you guys in whatever industry that you're trying to apply to. And so if it is sales, like, show that you can sell, show that you are willing to put yourself out there, show that you can keep persisting until you get there, show that you might have good people skills, or whatever it is, right? And so I just want to give you that little tip. I don't know if any of these things are helpful, but I just wanted to, I was trying to think of some of my own experiences, and I'm like, would it be helpful if I shared my teaching salary? Would it be helpful if I shared how I was able to get this job? I didn't end up taking it. I ended up actually getting a different job in teaching and have been loving it, and went a different direction and kind of started this YouTube channel and some other things for fun. And that's just what it is. But I was trying to come up with some of my own personal experiences. So if any of this resonates with you, definitely let me know in the comments. And if you want to know more, I'm willing to share more about my story or my life, or some of the things I've done or I haven't done. And that's just part of the process. I am focusing a lot on now and what I'm learning now. But if anything that I've done or been through can help you, then I would love to do that. So I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope it encourages you that there's opportunities out there. Like, I got offered the job, and it could pay $200,000 plus a year if I was willing to put in the time and the effort, and all their top performers like made even more than that, right? And sales can be really tough. It can be tricky, but maybe that's what you want to do. Maybe that is where you want to be. And so if it is, I just want to give you hope and encouragement that you can do it too. And you can get through, and you're like, oh, there's 5,000 other people. How could I do this? Instead of just saying, oh, I'm not going to apply to it, go for it. And especially, and get in touch with your feelings and your intuition and promptings, and see if it's worth it. All right, so I hope this video was helpful for you. It's a little weird for me to talk about some of this stuff, but if it was helpful, definitely let me know. Feel free to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, share with a friend, subscribe for more, hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when more videos come out, and I will see you in the next video. Good luck, good luck, good luck. Keep learning, working, and growing. Trust me, I'm in a much different place than I was a couple of years ago, in 5 years ago, in 10 years ago, and I know that even 6 months ago, a year ago, I'm in a different place. And so commit to your growth, commit to learning, and figure out where you want to be, and then start taking action on it. You can change your life. You have the ability to. And so don't sell yourself short, and don't count yourself out. Keep learning, working, and growing. You will achieve what you want to. You have to stick with it. You have to keep going. And I can't wait to share more tips and updates with you along my journey as well. So you've got this. I believe in you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.